We are live.
We sure are. We weren't live 10 seconds ago, but we're live now.
Yes, and I told Noah to shut up because he was talking too much.
What's up,
So,
guys? Thanks for tuning in.
we
How
are back.
we are. What is has it been 3 weeks? No. Oh, because of
Yeah,
Valentine's Day.
yeah, it's 3 weeks because of Valentine's Day. I figured let you do your
You,
Valentine's
you.
Day thing.
Well, actually, I was at Foxwoods winning some money off the slot machines. No big deal.
Ooh,
Not really. I mean, Jen, my wife, actually won. Not. I mean, it's we usually break even. So if we win a few $100, it's a monumental win. So she won a few $100, which was nice. That was a better Valentine's Day gift from the universe than I got her. So she was appreciative, and I was appreciative because I didn't have to really spend too much money. So the casino got it for her. Um, but yeah, it's been good. It's been a good few weeks overall. Still healthy and happy, thankfully. And how about you, Tori? How you been?
good. I went back to the office uh, last week, and then we're sort of like switching on and off weeks. So, this week I'll be back in the office. So,
You like
you
it?
know,
Where do you prefer to work, from home or the office, if you had a choice?
I mean, I prefer being home just because I don't have to commute,
Yeah,
but it's nice being in the office, I guess. I mean, it's a little weird because they moved offices. So the previous office was more of like a communal,
workspace.
like there was one big. There were offices on the outside, and then there was a big space in the middle.
Got it.
And this one is like more, there's like you come in, then there's a hallway, and then so there are offices, but there's no like communal space really.
Sure.
So it's a little different. It's not, you know, you can't like turn around and talk to people.
Right. Yeah. Well, we were all missing that human interaction. That's for sure. I like it's I took a work I started taking some like workout classes, and I was like a fish, like I was like a guy trapped in the desert that was just being fed drinks, which was just human interaction. I was like, "Hey, oh, do you want to talk to me? Oh, would you like to have a conversation? Oh, sure. Yeah. Let's talk about absolutely nothing or everything. I don't care." You know, anytime there was like eye contact made, I was like, "Yeah, human being, me, you want to talk? You want to have a conversation? Sure." But so
Oh,
it's
we just got a second viewer.
no way. What? Welcome. This is exciting. Oh, I should probably let me see if so anyway, so we got what do we got? We got some stuff to talk about today, or what do you think?
Well, there's something really weird I guess you call it, happened in Texas. You know, they got 6 inches of snow and everything collapsed.
Yeah. Well, it's from
So
yeah, it's not fun.
I,
I saw a really devastating black ice highway pilot. Like,
oh yeah,
oh man, that was really sad to see. I mean, there was some guy who I guess who was recording it in real time, and that was just really disturbing because. And it makes you like not want to ever have to drive in the winter, and I guess in any state now, you know, if it could happen in Texas.
well, from what I understand, I mean, in Texas, you know, how many people are driving all-wheel drive cars in Texas?
Right. I guess it's not a
You know, to me, I would never. To me, I'm always gonna get an all-wheel drive car
yeah,
because,
you're a real Subaru guy.
well, now I am, but my lease is up, and I'm not getting a Subaru again.
Every person that I see driving a Subaru drives twice as fast as everybody else. Doesn't matter if it's a side street or the highway, and no matter the weather condition. I don't know if like owning a Subaru just gives you some super power, but it's just I'm always in awe. I'm like, wow, that like why are you driving worse than me?
Well, so my car is it has the 3.6 liter engine, so it has the bigger engine.
Right.
And the way Subaru does it, it seems, is that they put other stuff, like other features in the car with the bigger engine to sort of make you buy the bigger engine, or to make you lease the bigger engine. So, as opposed to other cars where they'll have the same stuff, but you could opt for the bigger engine, Subaru does it where you have to get the bigger engine to get the other stuff. So, I think probably more people have the bigger engine Subarus because of that.
That's what she said. That didn't work.
I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a Nissan. It's funny because living in the Bronx for living in New York City for the last decade, having a car, you know, having a smaller car is really helpful because you can fit into tighter spaces. And then this past year, when my lease, or 2 years ago when my lease was up, I was convinced to get a Nissan Maxima. And I've been driving Nissan for a number of years. This is not a Nissan plug, but I like Nissans. They're like, you know, a nice, inexpensive.
Yeah, Nissans are good. They have a lot of the safety features that the more expensive cars have.
Yep.
For a fraction of the price.
Yeah, and they're very reliable. I think I've never had to get it serviced for any crazy reason. And my wife, with some of her recent cars, she's had to bring it in for different types of service. And so anyway, so I'm very happy with Nissan, but I was convinced to get a Maxima, and like it worked out numbers wise So I was like, oh yeah, I'll take a Mac. It's literally twice as long a car as like any other car I've driven. So having to get like used to that, and then living in the Bronx, it was like, oh, this is kind of dumb because I can't fit into any of the spots I used to be able to cram into. And then we moved up to the country, and then winter came, and now it's like the worst, the craziest winter the U.S. has seen in a while. And it's a front wheel drive car, so it stays in the driveway quite often these days. But I have a driveway, so that's cool. So I don't need to. I could take them up as much room as I want. Actually, it's
Yeah,
a
I
very small
mean,
driveway. Very small driveway.
yeah, for a while before I got this car, I was driving my sister's Ford Fusion back and forth to work because she was, uh, well, she was living in the city, so she had a car, and we owned it. So, but since she was living in the city, there was no reason for her to
That's
have it.
that's that's true.
So I was driving her car, and it was front wheel drive. And I remember one time when it snowed,
Uh-oh.
I couldn't even get up the driveway.
And for all you viewers and listeners out there, the driveway Tori is referring to is not a steep incline at all.
No, and it's not a big driveway either. Like it's
It's very short and flat.
yeah.
It's fine.
Well, there's an incline, but you shouldn't be. I mean, I remember because right, down the street from where I live, there's a big hill. And I remember driving back when it was snowing, driving up that hill when it was snowing, not uh not snowing hard or anything, but someone was driving like a Dodge Charger, and he was driving sideways going up the hill.
Going up the hill. Wow.
Yeah.
That's one way of doing it.
So I mean, I think that probably played the biggest part into that crash.
Well, let me ask you,
Was
are
that
18 wheelers for all-wheel drive? I would imagine they would have to be at least the front.
yeah, but
Yeah.
was it the 18 wheelers that started the crash?
They definitely were in it. I don't know if they started it. They were.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, who started it,
Who started this crash? Who started it?
and once there's a crash, it's sort of like, well, then you're relying on reaction times, and
Yeah,
if you're paying 100% attention, and
it's I don't know. Yeah, it's really it's devastating. It kind of, yeah, I mean, it makes you think twice about getting behind the wheel of a car. I mean, it just reminds you how. But anyway, there's a lot other there's a other news to discuss regarding Texas. I think you were trying to get at.
well, I mean, basically, they're out of power. I mean, basically, the snowstorm crippled them. And it wasn't even that bad. It was only 6 inches. But it just shows, well, it's basically, it's them not being prepared because they don't experience this
Right.
stuff. But now, apparently, like, I guess they're wanting natural disaster relief or something. they basically want help from the federal government, which, I mean, I don't. That seems, that's not. You shouldn't need help from the federal government for this.
Well, I mean, first of all, it's a pretty big state. Secondly, like you said, they were completely taken. They were caught off guard. Um, why not? What's the big deal? I mean,
Well, I mean,
for
it's
situations just like this to give that type of relief.
well, I think it's been proven that in disasters like this, getting help from your neighbors is a lot more effective than getting help from the federal government. Like, remember, uh, there have been like massive, I think it was during Sandy or something, when like people just got in their canoes and traveled down the river of the flood.
The newly formed rivers. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I just don't think it's. I think there's many more important. I mean, the way I see it is that there's a lot of other things, and this country's in so much debt that you can't just keep throwing around money and helping, come up with different solutions. You know, I mean, what I don't think even throwing money at the problem would do anything.
Right.
Would it? I mean,
Uh,
it's more, to me, it's more of they didn't have the infrastructure that we have up here because they've never experienced it before and never thought it could happen to them.
right.
So now that they know it could happen to them, they're gonna reinforce the pipes with, you know, they're going to insulate the pipes. They're going to do all kinds of things. That's, to me, that's the issue. It's not they need money to fix this. It's that they just didn't do the things that we do up here. Which is the same thing. Like, we don't take the same hurricane precautions that they do in Florida.
Right. Good point.
If for some reason we got a full-on hurricane up here, we'd be screwed.
Right.
We don't have hurricane windows. We don't have. I mean, I guess we have like storm-rated windows, but they have like those shutters that they have, those metal shutters.
Right.
So it's the same thing to me. It's like they just need to learn from what, and maybe we should all learn from it and go
to Cancun. Oh, sorry, no.
Well, but maybe we should. But maybe we should all learn from this and go, well, really, any kind of weather can now hit us at any time because the climate's changing.
That's a lie! No.
No, but the climate is changing. The climate has
Oh
changed
yeah,
throughout history.
sure, absolutely.
So, at one point, the deserts in Egypt had heavy rainfall.
Right.
So,
Salt Lake City wasn't just a lake filled with salt. It
right.
was an ocean.
So, yeah. And
Well,
I
part of
mean,
it.
there's all. So, really, I mean, we have to just think that, okay, we are now in a time period where you can experience any kind of weather, so take the proper precautions, you know?
Right.
And the southern states, what should happen now is that you see places like Louisiana and Oklahoma and Arizona and New Mexico go, well, look at what happened to Texas. Let's not let it happen to us.
Right.
And then they preemptively fortify their pipes and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's
And then there's the whole Ted Cruz thing. Which, I mean,
look, you're
yeah,
right. There's been ice ages. There's been, land has dried up due to heat, and that's been cyclical over the years, over the millennia. So and clearly, we are experiencing it now. I mean, this is, seasons are they're not as clear cut. At least I don't know. I remember when I was younger, they seemed to be more like, 3 months of this type of weather, 3 months of
right.
this type of weather.
Now,
Now it's like
now, now we have summer and winter.
winter, winter. Yeah, exactly. Good point. So yeah, so it's good. Yeah, I think it should be like a right. Every state should be prepared. I don't know. I think it would be very. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but for a state like Arizona, do you think they need to have winter preparedness, winter weather
Well,
preparedness?
I think that if it was colder in Texas than it was here, so
That's a good point.
I think if they could happen in Texas, why can't it happen in Arizona?
That's true.
You
Plus,
know.
yeah, that's true. Maybe we should do more earthquake preparation here. You never know.
Well, the earthquakes are on, but we're on a fault line, aren't we? There are
Yeah,
fault
we're near
lines
one.
on the
I've
earth.
felt some tremors over the years in New York State, believe it or not, which is very strange. Nothing crazy, but I remember driving and I was in an intersection and
Yeah,
I was like, I don't think that's my motor shaking my car like that.
but what's earth? You hide under a desk? Isn't earthquake prevention the same as nuclear prevention?
Well, yeah, I
You
think
hide
you're in a
under your
nuclear.
desk.
Yeah, you wait for the alarm and then you hide under your desk. I think you go into a doorway for an earthquake. I don't think that would help you if a nuclear bomb went off. No, it's not funny, but no offense to anybody who's been through a
well,
nuclear bomb.
well, that's just what they told you in the 50s, is you should hide it
Right,
under
you're
your
gonna die
desk.
anyway, but at least you'll be. I don't know. You'll have your homework with you. I don't know. Make it through. Um, yeah. So yeah, and then I guess so. Ted Cruz was he cruised right out of the state, out of the country. south of the border, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I didn't pay enough attention to it. I don't know the timing of it. Did he leave in the middle of the snow?
I don't know either, honestly. I
Like, was he already in Cancun and then this happened, or did this happen and he went to Cancun? Because they're two completely different things.
Sure. I don't know for sure. I'm pretty sure from what I read, it sounded like he bailed once the weather turned. Which I mean,
Yeah, but
blame
of course the media hates Ted Cruz. Of course they're gonna make it
Oh
sound
yeah.
like that.
Yep.
So you know, I mean, so what? The guy's a scumbag. If he did leave in the middle of this, okay, so you just don't vote for him next time.
Right.
Like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, what?
We gotta no, this is what I want you to say. I want you to say we're gonna build a time machine. We have one mission, and that's to go get his ass back.
Kill
And it's like,
baby
what
Ted
else? Yeah,
Cruz?
what do people really want? It's like it happened. It's all. Let's move forward. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe I'm underreacting.
I think it's just that people don't like Ted Cruz. They associate him with Donald Trump, and so.
This is true. They sure do.
But I mean, I don't know. This is pretty boring. This topic.
I don't disagree with you. Well, speaking of, I mean, I guess it's more interesting. Donald Trump was like, you couldn't shut the guy up. Now it's like, is he even talking to anybody or anywhere or for any reason?
I heard something earlier today because Rush Limbaugh died.
Yes, that. Yep.
So I guess some people are saying, maybe they get Donald Trump to replace him.
What?
I'm like,
that dude could never host a talk show, He could never have a guest. It would just be him talking the whole time.
right. He'd talk over everyone.
And maybe that'd be perfect for talk radio. I mean, it is talk radio, but it's funny.
Well, it would be like The Rock. Like, remember The Rock in wrestling? Donald Trump would ask the guy a question and he'd go, "It doesn't matter what you say."
I don't remember that, but I have been watching some WWF clips from the 90s, which are always classic. I didn't know that. Was that his like tagline?
Well, yeah, he would ask people a question and then he would go, "It doesn't matter what you say."
Good old Dwayne, huh?
Speaking of Dwayne The Rock Johnson, did you see his? You remember those cards in like magazines back in the 90s? They used to have like sports cards that you could tear out. Like in Sports Illustrated.
You and I were reading different magazines teenagers. No.
Like in Sports Illustrated for kids, they had those they're like perforated cards.
Sure,
There would be like 9 cards. So they had one of The Rock. He used to play football in Miami for University of Miami. And so his card graded, like in perfect condition, sold for $43,000.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. You could buy a
So,
cheap little magazine and then 20 years later it would be
well,
worth.
well, the thing is, to tear those cards out was a nightmare.
Oh,
To
yeah.
get it in perfect condition,
Yeah, that's a
so
big
there's
one.
probably only like one card in perfect condition.
Right.
Because, imagine kids ripping it out. Never
Sure.
works.
Right. Um, what was I going to say? You said The Rock. Oh, I don't know. I was going to say something maybe about Hawaii or no, I don't remember.
Were you going to talk about the movie?
What movie?
The Rock.
I love that movie. That was one of that soundtrack. Dun 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 dun. Nicolas Cage being weird as ever, but very cool. Very cool. Definitely believable as a quirky government agent, or I think he was an FBI or ATF or something in there. And then of course Sean Connery. Wow. Yeah, that was
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. I saw an interview where he's talking about beating up women. Did you see that with Barbara Walters? Is that real?
Oh
Or that was
yeah, I think that was real.
he was really saying that sometimes you have to smack a woman around?
Yeah, I think he said that. I mean, remember, he's an old Scottish guy.
What? What does that matter? Come on,
Well,
man.
in Scotland, they're always drunk.
Well, I mean, say something about goats, but still, I mean, no, that's crazy.
I mean,
I
remember
laughed my
that,
ass off, but that was
remember,
crazy.
remember that time he was on Jeopardy and he said, "Suck it, Trebek"?
No. What?
Oh wait, that was SNL.
Wait, that was just the skit you
you,
remember?
you don't remember that? The Celebrity Jeopardy? It
No.
was
Oh yes, of course.
Will Ferrell was Trebek and Daryl Hammond was Sean Connery.
Oh yeah, I did see that. They did it a few times, I think, didn't they?
Well,
Or was it-
Sean Connery was always there.
Right.
It was always Sean Connery and Alex Trebek, and then they had other people depending on who the guest host was. And they always had they always had the three people.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, Sean Connery was the best because he would pronounce things wrong. So, like, one of the categories was the pen is mightier. And he would go, "I'll take the penis mightier for 400, Alex."
That's how you write in beeper code. I think you could type. It was what 6 3. What was N? Anyway, one
Oh,
something 1 5, and that was like penis upside down or something. Remember, I used
well,
to
yeah. I mean,
on a calculator.
there was the boobies one where it was like 80081
1 3 3
three
5.
5. Yeah, something like that.
Oh, these kids! I tell you, I did you see that article I sent you though about that teacher in that professor? Was he Columbia
Which
or
one?
Yale? Who's like he says he just does a little heroin to wind down at the end of
Oh
the day.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Like it's like,
I've heard.
hey man, I hate to tell you, but you just have a heroin addiction. That's what that's
Yeah,
called.
but listen, if he's functioning, what's the problem?
I,
You
I
know,
I hear you, but I would say there are substances that are very hard to get addicted to. Not that the lifestyle is not easy to get addicted to. Having a drink every night, uh, that's a very easy routine to fall into, and then maybe having two or three or four as time goes on, perhaps. But heroin, in my experience, is is a all opiates. They're very hard to do recreationally because of the physical component to the body's reaction. Especially like he said in the article, he would do it a few days at a time. It's like that you build up a very quick need for more, not more, just any.
well, yeah, I mean, I've seen articles where like guys on Wall Street do like coke all the time,
Sure.
but I mean, obviously they're working on Wall Street, so they're able to function.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's funny. I'm
Yeah,
not advocating for cocaine use, but I think uppers are in a different category than like narcotics because yeah, you somehow oddly enough, I mean, you'll be miserable most of probably. I mean, I don't know any coke addict who's a happy, peaceful person. Um, or healthy for that matter. There's not much going for them except the fact that, yeah, they are functional. They're able to stay awake. But heroin, other sedatives, especially hallucinogens, it doesn't matter. I think you're one way or the other. At the end of the day, you're going down, whether it's just for a nap or for nighttime. But it's a hard thing to do recreationally, in my opinion. I'm not hey, if he can do it, more power to him, but I just think it's sort of a cop out, like a way to
well, he
kind of.
probably doesn't like being a teacher with all those spoiled Columbia brats.
Well, think about it this way too, like now that he's out there, he's outed himself. Well, I'm sure he probably that article probably isn't the first time he's been public about his usage because he's probably using it as that's like his thing. um but if he ever comes in with like an attitude or grades a paper wrong, or that dude has to be on tip top perfect behavior, because any student or faculty member can just be like, you see that guy over there? Yeah, he did this. And you know what else he does? Heroin. So, I don't know.
Yeah, well, did it say what he was a professor of?
Um, I can tell you right now, actually. They have this thing called technology. And I can look it up right now. Where the heck? Um, yeah, the title of the article is Meet the Columbia professor who says he does heroin for work-life balance. Um, he is a professor of psychology and neuroscience. So,
So, he's probably like, listen, this is what I do. It's fun. I don't know why. Whatever.
yeah, whatever.
I mean, but he's probably an advocate for,
Decriminalization.
well, but for other people doing it. I mean, listen, the way I view heroin is I view it as it's a better alternative than Oxycontin. because oxy is a chemically enhanced heroin. And
Yeah, but the likelihood of your OxyContin pill that you get from someone, at least from the pharmacy, hopefully somewhere down the way, as long as it's not pressed from some clandestine laboratory or whatever, but it's the likelihood of it being laced with fentanyl is, I think heroin these days is a death wish. If
well,
you are doing heroin, it's a death wish, A, because of the fentanyl crisis, in addition to it just being a potentially deadly substance. But
right.
the
But so what you're talking about is you're talking about heroin on the illegal black market. So
yeah, that's usually where the one required.
but that's why that's why it's being laced with all this
Yeah,
other
you're right.
stuff.
In fact, it's funny that we are talking about this because I remember when I was at NYU, I had a sociology professor, not too far off from psychology, tell the entire lecture, which was about 250 people at the time, maybe a little less, that heroin itself is not bad. It's the sociological phenomenon or phenomena that surround the heroin use that create the problems. And you know what? He's not entirely wrong. In and of itself, pure heroin, it's not that detrimental to the body. However, yes, it gets laced. You have to go to shady places to buy it usually. Usually the method of administration involves needles, which need to be, may not be clean. And
Right. Well,
it is illegal, so you can get in trouble for it. There's a lot of
well,
danger that surrounds it other
and,
than the substance itself.
and in the 80s, that was one of the causes of AIDS. Or, I mean,
Sure.
not the cause, but a lot of
Oh,
people who ended up getting AIDS were drug users
sure. Yeah. And it
because
still
they were
accounts for
using,
certain amounts of
right, because they
transmission.
were using dirty needles.
Right. Yep.
So, there are a lot of, and I think that's where a lot of people get caught up in this
Oh, here comes your libertarianism. It's about to
drug
go.
in the drug stigma. The stigma of
Yeah.
drugs is that it's it's very different to talk about the black market drugs versus what those drugs would look like if they were legal and in in their pure form.
Yeah. So, right. Yes and no. I mean, I think there are certain, I don't know. I mean, it's a crazy conversation to even think about, but I hear what you're saying. If
Well, we have an example in Portugal, you know. So Portugal has legal drugs. They legalized drugs in like 2000 or decriminalized drugs. So, you know, they're a pretty good case study. You know,
yeah,
they, they've seen, you know, there's been a reduction in addiction. And the other thing is, so there was a study done, I don't know, maybe in the 70s or 80s uh, called Rat Park. I think we discussed this before, but basically, Rat Park was. So I guess when they first discovered the addiction properties of cocaine specifically, it was they took rats and gave them a bottle of liquid cocaine and a bottle of water.
yeah.
and they discovered that the rats kept going back to the cocaine.
Yep, that makes
But
sense.
then the scientists said, wait, but this was done in a small cage. So, of course, they would go to the cocaine. Who would, of course, if you're stuck in a room with nothing, would you rather have water or cocaine? Like,
Let me think about that.
so they decided to do the same experiment with the water and the cocaine, but instead of having a small cage,
Ah,
do like a whole park. So
right,
you have like those tunnels, the hamster, the wheels,
right. There were
all
more
that stuff.
options.
And basically, the rats ignored the cocaine.
Hmm.
They took it, but they were like, whatever. And so basically, it's an argument that not that the the addictive properties aren't the only driver of addiction, of crippling addiction.
Yeah, I my yeah, I hear you. I
I mean, look at. They say sugar is one of the most addictive things. Okay, but people aren't dying from sugar every day. I mean, I guess they are, diabetes and
yeah.
stuff, but not at the same like rate. I mean, people, but
It's not as correlated. You're not the people aren't saying, "Oh, it's a shame he died of a sugar overdose." They're not.
yeah, it's not. And there are plenty of other. Everyone eats sugar. You know, I mean, I guess now there are people that don't because they're like keto or whatever.
Right.
But before that, everyone ate sugar. There's sugar in everything. There's sugar in apples. There's sugar in oranges. There's sugar in, you know, I mean, keto, they're still eating sugar. They're just not eating processed sugar.
Refined sugar. Yes.
Right. So, it's more about, uh, there are a lot of other aspects to why you're, a lot of, I mean, listen, there's a reason why there's like what is it called, where people eat when they're depressed.
Uh, every night for me.
but like that's a thing. So and they eat junk food, like the stereotype, like when a girl breaks up with her boyfriend and she sits down and eats a pint of ice cream. That's so it's different. It's like it's more of a, we have to start thinking about these things in a more complicated. We have to think of things as they're more complicated than, oh, this is addictive, it's bad.
I think that's going to be a tough sell with heroin, but But
I mean, I'm not talking about necessarily. I mean, obviously, this was about heroin because of the guy, but
right, I know what you're saying. Yeah, no,
in general,
I think taking a closer look at Portugal is a good idea. It would be valuable. And I do think that there is value in decriminalizing a lot of drugs, particularly like marijuana. Um,
well, marijuana is the most egregious one ever because marijuana is a Schedule One drug, which means there is no medical purpose for it. But cocaine is a Schedule Two drug.
right.
So,
And they're using a lot more weed for medicinal purposes these days than they are cocaine, that's for sure.
right. I mean, cocaine was used as an anesthetic.
Yep.
Now they rarely ever use it
Right.
as an anesthetic.
Right.
So, I mean,
Well, they have ketamine clinics. Is what schedule is that now?
it's like a Schedule Two drug, also.
Well, that's true. I
I
guess
mean,
it's always been medicinal. It has been legal for, I don't
yeah,
know.
I think the only Schedule One drugs are marijuana and heroin.
Why that doesn't make any sense that marijuana is a Schedule One drug. When it's
It's
prescribed.
it's because of the whole backstory of marijuana, why it became illegal. That's why. I mean,
Why did it become illegal?
it became illegal because of William Randolph Hearst. He wanted to ban hemp
Oh.
because, I mean, listen, the Declaration of Independence was written on hemp.
It was?
Yeah, it's written on hemp paper.
Wow. I gotta hang out
I
with you
mean,
more often, man. I learn something new every day.
in the 1800s, hemp was required to be grown. Like it was the number one crop was hemp because
People
hemp
smoke any of it?
is no, because there's no benefit to smoking hemp. Hemp's not there's no THC in hemp, or
Well,
very,
why the hell not?
because it's a cousin of marijuana.
Oh,
But
always got to be
but
the
but the hemp plant and the marijuana plant look exactly alike.
right.
So the reason marijuana was made illegal is because William Randolph Hearst owned the newspapers and he owned paper mills. And people were starting to use hemp paper more and more because hemp is a stronger, hemp's really strong. I mean, Henry Ford built a bumper out of hemp, you know.
Wow.
So but he owned paper mills. So he wanted everyone to continue to use regular wood paper. So he lobbied the government to make hemp illegal, and in turn, they had to make marijuana legal. And then the way they justified making marijuana illegal was reefer madness, where they said all the crazy blacks and Hispanics are doing it, and there was that whole racial aspect to it. And then in the 70s, under Nixon, they cracked down on that and started scaring the shit out of people and sending everyone to jail.
Right.
And now we have people spending life sentences in prison for marijuana possession, which is, yeah.
Aren't they getting some of those commuted?
Well, so funny you say that. One of the things that Trump did was, remember when he met with Kim Kardashian?
Yes.
Everyone was like, oh my God, what is he doing meeting Kim Kardashian? Why is he wasting all his time?
Right.
That was because Kim Kardashian was following this woman's case
I remember.
who was serving a life sentence for marijuana possession.
Right.
And she got Trump to commute her sentence.
Have
One
other
wants to talk about that.
what? No, I know it's true. But have there been any other cases like that have
I'm
followed?
sure there have. I mean, that's one of the big things, though, is that with all these states legalizing recreational marijuana, is that a lot of those states are overlooking existing convictions. So
That's not fair. Yeah.
right, so that's why a lot of people will say, like, it's not good enough,
Right.
or they'll be against it because it doesn't have that in it. But to me, you might as well legalize it and then try and do everything else
Right.
than to get everything done at once. So, but
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was just saying that's probably the most egregious thing that has happened in this country, aside from like slavery.
Well, I think there's probably a big gap there, but that's next. That may be next. You think that these marijuana stocks are going to be popping soon?
I said from the beginning, until it's federally legal, they're not gonna do anything.
Right.
Because I think that there's just too many regulations in place. There's the whole there's the whole issue with banking, where these dispensaries can put money in a bank. So it's, and I think things changed on that front a little.
Okay.
Because that was early on, where like in Colorado, dispensaries would have to like store their taxes in a safe and then hand deliver their taxes to the IRS building in their local,
Wow.
wherever, and they would get robbed because people would know that they're delivering, thousands and thousands of dollars. And so it was dangerous. But I think that those those regulations have eased up. But still, I mean, to me, like, I don't understand what they're waiting for.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I know that COVID is more of a pressing matter, but I mean, Biden should have just signed an executive order, saying it's legal. Or, I mean, he has all of he has the House and the Senate.
Yep.
The Democrats have the House and the Senate. So why? So that, if he could do anything he wants, if anything that has approval from everyone, and the way politics is right now is they follow the herd.
Right.
So, and the House had previously passed federal legalization in December. So, that just, to me, like, that just says, they should legalize it and get it over with.
Right.
And that way, and also it would show people that he actually wants to do something and he wasn't all talk.
Well, I guess that will we'll have to that will remain to be seen, right?
Well, yeah, and I think he's going to use COVID as cover for as long as possible.
Right.
It's a convenient. Oh, well, why aren't you doing anything?
I can't.
Yeah.
We've got COVID.
Right. We
That's
have
kind of
more
the trick,
pressing.
right?
We have more pressing matters. So, I
Come
mean,
on, man.
it is what it is. But
Wait, this is a good Biden, right? This is like a good Biden face. Come on, man.
Biden. I always remember, Jeff Dunham.
Yes.
He doesn't Biden look like Walter?
His puppet.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, the puppet of the old guy.
Yes. Yeah, that's funny. He does.
All right. So on that note, let's wrap it up. So
see you guys next time. Thank you for tuning in.
That's sort of like Donald Trump on weed.
Yeah, I gotta work on my Donald Trump. J.L. Colvin, he does a hell of a Donald Trump. You know him?
Huh?
I'll show you later.
All right. So yeah, let's. I mean, I guess I'd say, where are you? What are you doing? But you're not really anywhere. I mean, did you get your Twitter going? Your Twitter?
Not yet. Yeah.
Not yet. So
it's there. It's Noah Fleiss. At Noah Fleiss. Come check me out. There's a whole lot of nothing going on.
So yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess you could follow him in preparation. So you don't miss that first tweet.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so
you can follow this guy, that's for sure. This one right. Am I pointing the right way?
Other way.
That guy. Yeah. I couldn't even tell once I was.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's everyone does it. But yeah, so you can point or you can follow me on
that COVID shot, man, it's starting to get to you.
no, like, I haven't really posted to the unuseful idiots Twitter in a while. I mean, occasionally I do. I think I did it like a week ago or something when I saw something stupid from someone. But then you can follow me at unuseful unboxing. That's another on Twitter. I use that more. Um, my Instagram is well, I have three. I have the unuseful idiots, which is like this show's, Instagram. Unuseful unboxing, and then where I just post pictures of stuff I get. And then I have the unuseful sales and breaks, where I post like stuff for sale and, card breaks, any kinds of stuff. And then the unuseful idiots on Facebook. We have a page, and maybe we'll start doing that at some point.
A lot of different, you got a lot of hats on, Tori.
Yes. Well, I only have one hat on right now. I could go get another one.
Shh.
I have another hat somewhere.
You look good in that one. All right, well, thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks to the two people that were watching but didn't say anything.
That's
That was really cool. But yeah, we don't care if you say anything.
No.
Noah talks enough for the both of us.
Exactly. Well, until next time, thank you. Stay unuseful. Stay idiotic.
Yes, stay idiotic. Don't stay idiotic. Stay unuseful.
Right.
Become unuseful, because unlike what a lot of people think that unuseful means useless, but unuseful actually means you don't listen to the man.
Exactly. Stick it to him.
All right. So,
thank you.
Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.